Population that's been atomized, numbered, and infantilized. Ritualistic human sacrifice. The futility of democracy. Rulers parasitically manipulating the underclass with cynical promises of worldly prosperity. Weird old rich elitists wearing occult masks. What could they possibly be trying to tell us? Squid Game has become Netflix's most watched show after hitting 111 million views less than a month after its release. This represents a cultural moment. So what makes the symbolism behind the show so powerful? I'm not going to waste time explaining everything that happens, but the basic premise is this. A shadowy organization invites hundreds of cash-strapped, desperate players to take part in a Hunger Games-type tournament to win a 45 billion won prize. They play a series of children's games with the brutal twist that the losers are violently eliminated, usually by being shot in the head by guards who look like buttons on a PlayStation controller. We're given a pretty big clue as to who runs Squid Game in the very first few seconds of the first episode. As the VigilantCitizen.com website notes, the outline of this game is also the main logo of the series. The reason? It perfectly illustrates the core philosophy of Squid Game and by extension the elite. The rectangle represents the masses. The circle at the bottom of it represents those who are poor and heavily in debt. The triangle above the rectangle represents the elite ruling over the masses. The upper circle represents the all-powerful occult elite that controls the world. Throughout the series, we're presented with some subtle and not so subtle clues, which combine to communicate to us that the dystopian high-tech hellscape of Squid Game and its malevolent, abusive controllers might not just be confined to a fictional Netflix show. First, the very notion of elites engaging in ritualistic human sacrifice itself, which is a practice older than religion, a fetish that was fictionalized in 1920's The Most Dangerous Game, a short story about a Russian aristocrat who hunts humans for sport. But that's just fiction, isn't it? The games take place on a remote island that resembles a CIA torture outpost. The players are stripped of possessions, atomized, numbered, before being disorientated and infantilized. Is this really how the elite perceives us useless eaters? Surely not. The players are also given the illusion of freedom by being handed a democratic vote enabling them to leave the game. We later find out that the entire process was rigged and that the deciding vote was cast by number one, the individual who controls the game. Many such cases. The frontman for the games, that's literally his name, is later revealed to have been a police chief in his previous career, illustrating how the elite recruit frontmen from the lower rungs of the establishment to help them evade the law. Thank God that never happens in reality. The ritualistic blood sacrifice orgies are all performed while players are surrounded by childlike playground aesthetics and images, illustrating the elite's revulsion for and lust to desecrate innocence and purity. In between the games, the elites practice divide and conquer by creating artificial food scarcity before pitting the players directly against each other. Dead bodies are placed in creepy coffins wrapped in bows, symbolizing a gift to the gods, a human sacrifice. The bodies are then harvested for organs, the sale of which presumably pays for the prize fund. This is all foreshadowed in the first episode by the main character giving an identical gift box to his daughter, which contains a gun, symbolizing how a key expression of the elite's sickness is exposing the youth to their agenda. Having previously been fed on scraps, the three remaining players are treated to a fine dining experience by the controllers. They're seated around a triangular table with a light in the middle. The table is placed on a checkerboard floor with two pillars to either side. A pillar checkerboard all-seeing eye combination that I remember viewing somewhere before. In Freemasonry, it's the platform on which the rituals take place. The ritual in question here being one of the players slashing the other one to death. And as if there was ever any doubt as to the dark forces that lie behind all this, here's a clip of the VIPs arriving to watch the games.
I hope you won't disappoint me.
Hey, didn't I see you at the 1972 Rothschild ball? No, it was at Baron Mayer de Rothschild's Mentmore mansion. The elite watch the ritual from a plush room decorated with decadent symbols where humans are used as furniture. Turns out that some of them are into weird sex stuff too. Thank God this kind of stuff doesn't happen for real. At the very end of the series, the old man responsible for creating Squid Games reveals the true motivation behind its purpose. If you have too much money, it doesn't matter what you buy, eat, or drink. It all gets boring. All of my clients eventually started saying the same things when we talked. Everybody felt there was no joy in their lives anymore. And so we decided to get together and started asking what could we all do to finally have some fun. In other words, when you have all the money and power in the world, what more can you do to get your kicks? By engaging in increasingly depraved sexual and sadistic behaviour to defile the innocent. And that's kind of the goal of the series, writes Vigilant Citizen. The viewers end up watching this sick form of entertainment the same way the VIPs enjoy watching people get killed. Then they feel dead inside. We get to pass moral judgment on the depravity of the elite while simultaneously relishing the same debauched exposition of bloodlust. And instead of the players making millions, Netflix cashes in. As is usually the case with these type of things, Squid Game works on two levels. One for the normies and one for the initiates. The normie narrative is that which has been amplified by the media, that Squid Game is merely another critique of late-stage neoliberal capitalism. And because capitalism's so bad, I'm sure that Netflix will be donating the $900 million they've made from the show to charity. And then you have the red pill narrative, which is that the world is controlled by a sick, masked elite, which both gets its kicks out of and enshrines its power by orchestrating occult ritualistic blood sacrifices, which couldn't possibly be true in real life. Could it? The two-tier story is similar to Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, where the normie narrative was the marital turmoil of Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise's characters, but the actual revelatory narrative was the couple being inducted into the masked elite sex magic ritual cult. Which, of course, it would be silly to suggest actually takes place outside of Hollywood movies. It would also be fantastical to suggest that Squid Game, just like Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, is another example of revelation of the method. Only a tinfoil hat-wearing lunatic would dare suggest that by hiding the truth in plain sight, the elite get to simultaneously laugh in our faces, initiate the masses into their own sick, aberrant pleasures, while comically absolving themselves of sin by openly professing their proclivities via the medium of popular fictionalized television shows. To even entertain for a moment that that might be true would be utterly insane.
Oh, that's